guys, welcome to the Channel of Love study group. I am going to get cracking on with actually finishing this book today. How to Raise Your Own Salary. Only 2 more chapters to go. Okay, I'm really interested in this one because I believe we could all do with working on, we would all benefit from a cosmic habit force, and that's the name of the chapter. Benefit from cosmic habit force. Chapter 17. Before describing the law of cosmic habit force in detail, you may be interested in knowing what benefit it offers those who adapt themselves to it. First of all, you should know this law is the climax of the entire philosophy of individual achievement. To get a slight degree of understanding of the importance of this law, consider the fact that it is the master key to the principles previously described, and its benefits are available only to those who master and apply the instructions in previous chapters. In order that you may approach the study of this chapter with a favourable mental attitude, you should be informed at the outset of the promise it offers those who learn how to adapt themselves to the working principle which it presents. Understanding and application of the law can release you from fears and self-imposed limitations, thus enabling you to take full possession of your own mind. If it offered no further promise, this would be sufficient to justify all the time you may devote to its study. It can help you attain economic freedom for life, provided you follow the instructions in the previous chapters. It can aid you in eliminating the opposition of others in all your relationships, thus enabling you to negotiate your way through life with a minimum of friction. It can help you master most, if not all, of the major causes of physical conditions that cause illness and disease. It can clear your mind of negative conditions, thus paving the way for that state of mind known as faith. Cosmic habit force is the particular application of energy with which nature maintains the existing relationship between the atoms of matter, the stars and planets, the seasons of the year, night and day, sickness and health, life and death, and more important to us right now, it is the medium through which all habits and all human relationships are maintained, the medium through which thought is translated into its physical equivalent. You, of course, know that nature maintains a perfect balance between all the elements of matter and the energy throughout the universe. You can see the stars and planets move with perfect precision, each keeping its own place in time and space, year in and year out. You can see the seasons of the year come and go with perfect regularity. You can see that night and day follow each other in unending regularity. You can see that an oak tree grows from an acorn and a pine grows from the seed of its ancestor. An acorn never produces a pine, nor does a pine cone ever produce an oak. And nothing is ever produced that does not have its antecedents in something else which preceded it. These are simple facts that anyone can see, but what most people cannot see or understand is the universal law through which nature maintains perfect balance between all matter and energy throughout the universe, forcing every living thing to reproduce itself. A fragmentary glance of this great law of nature, which holds our little earth in its proper position and causes all material objects to be attracted toward the centre of the earth, was caught when Newton discovered what he called the law of gravitation. If Newton had gone a few steps beyond where he stopped, perhaps he would have discovered that the same law which holds our little earth in space and relates it to all the other planets in both time and space, relates human beings to one another in exact conformity with the nature of their own thoughts. He would have discovered that the same force which draws all material things towards the centre of this earth also builds men's thought habits in varying degrees of permanency. He would have discovered that negative thought habits of whatever nature attract to their creator physical manifestations corresponding to their nature. As perfectly as nature germinates the seed of the acorn and develops it into an oak tree. Also, he would have discovered that positive thoughts reach out through the same. He would have discovered that positive thoughts reach out through the self-same law and attract physical counterparts of their nature. You are here concerned only with the method by which nature takes a hold on the mind through the operation of the law. Before going any further, here is a brief description of an important function of cosmic habit force through which it controls all human relationships and determines whether an individual will be a success or a failure in his chosen occupation. Nature uses this law as a medium by which every living thing is forced to take on and become a part of the environment in which it lives and moves daily. We are ruled by habit, all of us. Our habits are fastened upon us by repetition of thought and experience. Therefore, we can control our earthly destinies just to the extent that we control our thoughts. It is a profoundly significant fact that over the power of thought a person may have complete control. Everything else is subject to forces outside of one's control. Nature has given man the privilege of controlling his thoughts, but she has also subjected him to the power of cosmic habit force, through which his thoughts are made to clothe themselves in their physical likeness and equivalent. If a man's dominating thoughts are of poverty, the law translates those thoughts into physical terms of misery and want. If a man's dominating thoughts are of opulence, the law transforms them into their physical counterpart. Man builds the pattern through his thoughts, but cosmic habit force works that pattern into its physical likeness and builds it into permanency. But how can a law of nature make something out of nothing? Some will ask. It is but natural that any practical person would want to know the exact manner in which, for example, cosmic habit force could transmute thoughts of opulence into material riches, or thoughts of poverty into material evidences of poverty. We are happy to raise the question and to answer it. To begin with, let us recognise the fact that cosmic habit force is silent, unseen, and unfelt, and works in complete harmony with all of nature's other forces, such as gravitation, electricity, evolution, etc. But it differs from all other natural forces in that it is the sole source of their power and serves as nature's comptroller, through which every form of power and every law of nature must work. It is the master key to the universe, so great in power that it controls every living thing and every atom of matter, the control being carried out through established habit force. The method by which cosmic habit force converts a positive impulse or mental desire into its physical equivalent is simple. It merely intensifies the desire into a state of mind known as faith, which inspires one to create definite plans for the attainment of whatever is desired. The plans being carried out through whatever natural methods of resourcefulness of the individual can command. Okay, I'm just going to reread that part. It merely intensifies the desire into a state of mind known as faith, which inspires one to create definite plans for the attainment of whatever is desired. The plans being carried out through whatever natural methods the resourcefulness of the individual can command. Cosmic habit force does not undertake to transmute the desires for money directly into bank balances or specie, but it does set into motion the mechanism of imagination through which the most easily available means of converting the desire into money is provided in the form of a definite idea, plan, or method of procedure. This force works no miracles, makes no attempt to create something out of nothing, but it does help an individual, nay, it forces him to proceed naturally and logically to convert his thoughts into their physical equivalent by using all the natural media available to him which may serve his purpose. The force works so quietly that the individual, unless he is of a psychological trend of mind, does not recognise its relationship to what is happening to him. On one occasion, an idea will present itself to his mind in a form which he calls a hunch, and it will inspire him with such definite faith that he will begin at once to act upon it. His entire being has been changed from a negative to a positive state of mind, with the result that related ideas flow into his mind more freely, the plans he creates are more definite, and his words have more influence with other people. Because he does not understand the source from which his hunch came, he may dismiss the matter and imagine the newly discovered idea or plan with which he achieved success was the creation of his own brain. The hunch is simply a desire that has been given the intensity to enable cosmic habit force to take it over and give it the necessary momentum to convert it into a definite idea or plan of action. From that point on, the individual must move on his own by using such opportunities, human relationships, and physical conveniences as may be available to him for carrying out his desire. At times, one is inspired with awe by the coincidental combination of favourable circumstances with which he is favouring in carrying out his plans, such as voluntary cooperation from unexpected sources, some fortunate transaction in business that provided unexpected money, etc. But always these strange and unexplained things happen through perfectly natural procedure similar to daily experiences. What the individual cannot see or understand is the method by which cosmic habit force gives to one's thoughts that peculiar quality which gives them the power to surmount all difficulties, overcome all resistances, and achieve seemingly unattainable ends through simple but natural procedure. That is one secret of nature which she has not yet revealed, but neither has she revealed the secret by which she causes a seed of wheat to germinate, grow and reproduce itself, bringing back with it 100 additional grains for good measure. The mystery by which nature forces a grain of wheat to reproduce itself is no longer than that by which an individual like Henry Ford can start at scratch with no working capital and no tools and convert one simple desire into a huge industrial empire. But the two mysteries have one thing definitely in common. They move in response to the law of cosmic habit force, working on and with the thoughts of man and inherent life in a grain of wheat. Cosmic habit force guided me through an awe-inspiring maze of experiences before revealing itself to me. All through those years of struggle, there was one definite purpose uppermost in my mind, the burning desire to organise a philosophy with which the average man can become self-determining. Nature had no alternative but that of yielding to me the working principle of cosmic habit force, because I unwittingly complied with the law by persistently seeking the way to its discovery. If I had known of the existence of the law and of its working principle at the beginning of my research, I could have organised a philosophy of American achievement in a much shorter period of time. It is profoundly significant that the law of cosmic habit force was revealed after a daily contact of minds through the Mastermind Principle covering a period of almost 2 years. A major portion of this time was devoted to the analysis of problems which had nothing to do with a voluntary search for the law, but the important thing I wish here to emphasise is the fact that our habit of bringing our minds into rapport for a definite purpose daily actually had the effect of giving us the benefit of cosmic habit force before we knew of the existence of the law. Prior to the discovery of this force, we had not understood clearly what happens when 2 or more people bring their minds into rapport and apply the Mastermind Principle for the attainment of definite ends. We know that this form of harmonious cooperation brought results, but we did not know how or why our minds were so stimulated during a mastermind meeting that our thoughts took on an entirely different and more vital quality. We had observed, prior to discovery of cosmic habit force, that when we went into a mastermind meeting for the purpose of solving some problem, we had little difficulty in supplanting fear with faith. Moreover, the mere contacting of our minds for a definite purpose invariably caused a change to take place in our minds, which automatically transformed our fears and doubts into confidence and faith. We understand now that the best of all known ways of adapting oneself to the positive influence of cosmic habit force is provided through the Mastermind Principle, where 2 or more minds are coordinated in a spirit of perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. We know that his procedure has the effect of clearing the way for cosmic habit force to act directly upon the thoughts associated with the object of the meeting. We know also something of the manner in which this force operates in carrying out the purpose of the meeting. In the first place, the harmonious contact of 2 or more minds for a definite purpose fixes the object of the purpose in each mind with greater clarity. This modifies the thoughts of each party to the meeting in such a manner that all doubts and fears associated with the object of the meeting are converted into confidence and faith. It is a fact that where any family group or any group of business associates sits down together in a spirit of friendliness for the purpose of analysing any problem they wish to solve, the mere discussion of the problem generally leads to its solution. When the solution comes, it generally comes in the form of a plan or a hunch that suddenly presents itself in the mind of one of the group. Many of these statements concerning the nature of cosmic habit force are abstract, but presently I shall proceed to reduce them to the concrete by describing exactly how this force operates in the daily affairs of men. I have shown you exactly how it is the determining factor which leads one to success and plenty, or to poverty and misery, how it brings harmony and understanding in marriage, or converts that relationship into disappointment and failure. I realise that merely to say that it is the force with which nature keeps the stars and planets in their place is not enough to be of benefit to the average man, who is more concerned with the solution of his daily problems than with electrons, stars and planets. I realise that the whole world has passed through economic collapses which have not only reduced millions of people to poverty I realise that the whole world has passed through economic collapses which have not only reduced millions of people to poverty and want, but have tried their very souls as well. And these millions of people, who were fighting for the right to live their lives in peace and harmony, wanted all the knowledge they could get that would help them, because you may be faced with a similar situation in your lifetime. I shall describe it in the simplest terms possible, the most astounding conclusions of my 40 years of research into the causes of success and failure. I wish you to have a bird's eye view of the relationship between cosmic habit force and 3 other important principles, through which it becomes the most important factor in the lives of men. Two of these principles are associated with the method by which the force operates, and the third is the major principle by which the power of the force can be redirected and converted from positive to negative use by an individual. These four important associated principles are A. Cosmic habit force, the principle through which nature forces everyone to take on and become a part of the environmental influences which control his thinking. B. Drifting, the habit of mental indifference through which an individual allows chance and circumstances to fasten his environmental influences on him. C. Time, the factor with which cosmic habit force weaves together man's dominating thoughts and the influences of his environment and transforms them into stumbling blocks or stepping stones according to their nature. D. Definiteness of purpose, the only medium under the control of an individual with which cosmic habit force may be controlled. In the statements to follow, you will observe how every success is the result of day-by-day habits of thought. The force may be likened to a great river, one half flowing in one direction, carrying everyone who drifts into it to certain failure, and the other half flowing in the opposite direction and carrying to success and power everyone within its reach. The river is the brain of man, and the force flowing in the two opposite directions is the power of thought. The failure side of the stream being negative thought, the success side being positive thought. The source of power that keeps the river flowing is cosmic habit force. You will observe that neither success nor failure is the result of luck or chance. I warn you, before you read further, that the knowledge you are about to receive will forever deprive you of the privilege of resorting to alibis to explain away your failures. I warn you too, that you will never again be privileged to say truthfully that life never gave you an opportunity, for you will know definitely that as long as you have the right to form and express your own thoughts, you have the potential power with which to change the circumstances of your life to whatever you wish them to be. If your life is not what you wish it to be, you can truthfully say that you drifted into your present unhappy condition through the irresistible force of cosmic habit force. But you cannot stop there, because you shall know presently that time and definiteness of purpose backed by cosmic habit force can give you rebirth, no matter who you are or what may be your circumstances. You may be in prison, without friends or money, with a life sentence hanging over you, but you can walk through the front gate and back to the outside world a free man if you adapt yourself to this force in the proper manner. How do I know this can be done? Because it has been done before. Because your common sense will tell you that it can be done once you understand the working principle and catch the full significance of its relationship to time and definiteness of purpose. You may be suffering with ill health, which prevents you from using your mind. In that event, unless your illness is of a nature that can be cured, unless your illness is of a nature that can be cured, you may not be able to order your life just as you would have it, but you can make changes that will give you ample compensation for your trouble in living. You are going to make another outstanding discovery in connection with this force. You are going to learn that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. You are going to discover, beyond any room for doubt, that every experience, every circumstance of your life is a potential stepping stone or a stumbling block, due entirely to the manner in which you react to the circumstance in your own mind. You are going to discover that your only limitations are those which you set up in your own mind, but more important still, you are going to know that your mind can remove all limitations it establishes. You are going to know that you may be the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, because you can control your own thoughts. You are going to learn that failure is one of nature's methods by which she breaks up the grip of cosmic habit force and releases the mind for a new start. You are going to understand that nature breaks the grip of cosmic habit force on human beings through illness that forces them to rest the organs of the body and the brain. You are going to understand too that nature breaks the grip of the law on the people of an entire nation through wars and economic collapses known as depressions, thereby breaking up the monopolies on opportunity and reducing all men to substantially the same level. I have given you a working knowledge of the relationship between cosmic habit force, drifting, time, and definiteness of purpose. I have shown you through illustrations based on actual experience exactly how and why 98 out of every 100 people are failures. I want you to know that the failures of life become such because they fall into the habit of drifting on all matters affecting their economic life. That cosmic habit force carries them swiftly along in this drifting path until time fastens the habit permanently, after which there can be no escape except through some circumstance of catastrophe, which breaks up their established habits and gives them an opportunity to move with definiteness of purpose. A combination of time and cosmic habit force compels every human being to absorb and become a part of the environment in which he lives and moves daily, just as definitely as time and cosmic habit force create the seasons of the year, follow day with night, and keep the stars and planets in their accustomed places throughout immeasurable periods of distance and time. By stating and restating the principles by which time and cosmic habit force operate, I hope to so clearly fix in your mind the nature of these two irresistible forces that you will recognise their presence and understand the part they play in experiences I shall describe. I wish you to see that you are where you are and what you are today because of the influences which have reached your mind through your daily environment, plus the state of mind in which you have reached, plus the state of mind in which you have reacted to these environments. I wish you to see and to understand that you can move with definiteness of purpose and make your environment to order, or you can drift with circumstances and allow your environment to control you. In both cases, cosmic habit force is an irresistible force which you cannot evade. It carries you swiftly towards a definite goal if you have one, and if you are definitely determined to reach that goal, or if you have no goal, it forces you to drift with time and circumstances until you become the victim of every stray wind of chance that crosses your path. Everything in life worth having has a definite price upon it. There is no such reality as something for nothing. Having had the full advantage of studying Emerson's conclusions on this subject, plus the advantage of analysing men and women representing the great successes and the outstanding failures, I am prepared to describe why each desirable thing in life has a price that must be paid. But I cannot pass this information on to the person who is not willing to face facts and admit his own shortcomings. A willingness to look at oneself through unbiased eyes is a part of the price one must pay for the formula, which leads to self-determination spiritually, economically, and physically. Every person who succeeds must make use of some combination of the principle of this philosophy. The power which gives life and action to these principles is cosmic habit force. Whenever any combination of the principles has been used successfully, as far as I have been able to determine by my research and personal experience, the law was unconsciously applied. I mean by this that those who have made successful application of the law have done so by mere chance, without recognising the real source of the power back of their achievements. Now that the law has been isolated and the principle of its operation understood, and now that the law has been isolated and the principle of its operation understood, the fundamental principles of achievements will be treated for their exact value. They will be used as stimuli with which any desired habit may be begun and carried on voluntarily until cosmic habit force picks up the habit and automatically carries it to its logical climax. Observe the importance of the element of time as an essential factor with which the principles of achievement and cosmic habit force become related. Cosmic habit force is so inexorable that it automatically takes over habits and makes them permanent. It is the medium by which the habit of illness, known to physicians as hypochondria, suffering from imaginary illness, begins to grow from the very first moment one complains of illness or admits the presence of pain. If cosmic habit force will, and it most certainly does, crystallise an impulse of thought of illness and pain into a habit, think how much more quickly it will translate into permanency. Such pleasant sensations as intoxication through liquor, opiates, and sex emotion. Then push your imagination just one step further, and you will quickly recognise what happens when these habits are so presented through clever advertising that the mind of the victim is continuously bombarded with the thought that they are signs of smartness. Then the forces of advertising become a voluntary and effective ally of the law of cosmic habit force, thus ensuring the fixation of the habits in less than 1/10 of the time nature would require if cosmic habit force were the only medium of fixation. When nature has a strong message to convey to mankind, she does not release it to those who are indulging in dissipation, nor does she hand it over to those who have been pampered and protected from struggle, but she picks as her torchbearers those who have been seasoned by defeat until they have become self-determining. I could not imagine a WPA worker or a CCC boy becoming an Edison or a Ford. Genius is born of hardship, of deprivation, and of toil to surmount difficulties, and not of subsidy. Wow. Final chapters next. Keep the source of all wealth. Chapter 18. Okay, so until then, which will be very soon, take care. Much love. Bye for now.